BLUF Gaming here with a quick tutorial about how to get into the bunker in map section D4. You can see my blue triangle right here. That is where the bunker is, and we will be approaching from uphill going towards the hatch. We're waiting for the sentry to pass by. He'll show up on our right over here and walk left. Once he's gone left and is no longer facing us, we will make our approach. Be sure to clear out any puppets in the area before you attempt this. You don't want to have to deal with additional threats. And try not to run at full speed too closely to the mech or it will hear you. This is a rather long fall if you were to get aggro. So even though you may be taking shots, either run away or wait to get on the ladder. Don't attempt jumping down the shaft as you will fall to your death. You can get out the same way that you came in. Just be sure that you have enough stamina to make the run in case you get aggro. Listen carefully for the mech, and once you think it's far enough away you can make a run for it. It's not too important that you don't get aggro here, as you can just dodge the bullets by zigzagging left and right if you do get aggro. If you'd like to see more about the bunker in D4, just stick around for the rest of the details. Thanks for sticking around. Now that we have our entry and exit through the hatch out of the way, let's take a look at the main vault door and why we're not using that. If you watch the rest of my bunker series, you know that I almost never enter through a hatch unless it has a very short fall. A fall so short that we could survive if we had to jump down if we get aggro. This is the only bunker that I've recommended going through the hatch on, even though there's a deadly fall, because it's so hard to get in through the vault door without getting aggro. As you can see, we have this mech guarding the front vault door, and because of his path, going straight in from the front doesn't seem to be a wise idea, as he spends a lot of time facing us here, and also his path across this area right here is very short. If you were to try to run when he turned away just then, he would have quickly turned left and possibly seen you in his peripheral vision even before then. You can't run at this point because he soon faces this direction, and then his cycle is started all over. Another option would be approaching from the right. Once he comes to this stop over here, you could wait for him to turn away, possibly hiding behind this building first, and then run in behind him and try to go in through the door. This actually seems like the most reasonable approach, except that if you can see right here, there is another mech that can see you when you're hiding down here and when you're running across. The last thing you want is another mech drawing attention to you or actually killing you. So approaching from the right isn't really that good of an idea unless you really want to sit around for a long time and wait for that mech to be at its furthest point at the same time that this mech is turning away from its right hand stop. Finally, you have the option of coming from the left whenever he turns around here. You could run and approach here, but keep in mind if you get too close he'll see you, and then he makes this weird little left turn. He's actually going to the right, but he turns left and faces the door on the way, making it even more likely that you're going to get aggro. I should mention that sometimes when exiting through this door and going out this direction, you will still get aggro from another sentry. So entering through the vault door is just incredibly dangerous. It can be done, but the hatch is just so much easier, and there's very little chance that you'll get aggro from the sentry when you enter through the hatch. That's the reason I've chosen to recommend for this bunker. So let's go make that entrance again, but I will exit through the vault door just so you can see that in action. I like to hide behind this tree before I go in the hatch. It's one of the closest places that you can hide before going in, where you don't have to move around a lot. You could get closer and hide behind that guard tower, but it requires a lot of strafing left and right, and it's not really necessary with as much time as the sentry spends away from facing the hatch. Just like before, once he starts to walk away, we can make our approach. There's a breach in the left and the right side of the fence here that you can use. And once I get here, I do like to sneak just because there are so many bushes. It makes it pretty easy to hide from the guy. These rocks and bushes help a lot as well, and you have plenty of time to open or close this door before you need to go down. Again, normally I would recommend jumping down if you were to get aggro, but because of the length of this fall, you really do need to take the time to engage the ladder and go down normally. While we did get aggro at the top, there's enough cover up there that we had plenty of time to get down without getting hit. And of course, I both closed and opened the door to show that there was plenty of time to do what you need to do. So now that we're in, let's take a look around. This is one of my favorite bunkers to raid. The biggest problem with it is that it's way out of the way in D4 in the corner of the map. But that's also a good thing about it because that means fewer people are going to be around to raid it. It's easy to get in and out, and there's tons of loot. Once we're down the hatch, we can see that we're already in one of these large hallways that has so much good loot in it. If you're looking for the other exit, just follow the large hallway all the way through. You'll enter one of those large central rooms that you see in some bunkers. I believe C3 also has a large central room like this. Here we are. Just go right through the middle to the other large vault doors. If you follow this large hallway, it will take you right to the main vault door exit. You only ever have one choice when you're going through this hallway, so you don't have to worry about getting lost. And then as we go uphill, this is going to be our exit. I know I said entering through this door is dangerous. However, exiting isn't quite so bad, especially if you take a right path. If you take the right path, you might have a bit of trouble finding a hole in the fence, but we'll be doing that later and we'll see where one is. Now that we've seen all of the major halls and all of the loot that we can expect to get out of these with all these large containers, let's take a look at the rest. So we have a few doors over here that are all essentially dead ends. As you can see, we have an office that we can loot, but this small vault door can't be opened. And again, the small vault door can't be opened. And that's something you're going to find in each of these three doors on this side of the room, so I wouldn't bother with trying to explore in this direction. In the other direction, you do find some good things. All of these doors essentially loop back around to that direction. There are stairs here going to the upper level, but we'll go to the upper level from that main room we just left. Again, the small vault doors in this bunker don't actually open. As you can see, we have an armory right here. Another armory here. And then we're back in the main room. Now that we've explored the downstairs, let's go upstairs. You're not going to find a whole lot this direction. As you can see, it just loops you back around to the main room. And if you follow it around, it brings you to where the side doors would have brought you. This will be the main room. But as we start exploring further back, we will find more armories, which is the reason that most people come here. Again, small vault doors don't work in this bunker. There's another armory. This leads to the main room again. And this loops around to the other hallways. Here's our main room. And you can see we're in the corner now. We've been opening the doors looping around. Essentially, it starts at this door and loops all the way around. Back to the main room. Continue our loop, and as you can see, we're back on the side that has the vault doors that never open. And there you have it. There's Bunker D4. If you've never been in a bunker before, or in a point of interest that has these large containers like this, then you should know that all of the stuff we saw in these big halls like this, all of these crates and covered containers, contain tremendous amount of good loot. You can usually expect to find 1 or 2 items in each, sometimes up to 4, and these containers typically have more clothes and armor, whereas these containers in the crates can have clothes and armor, but they have more weapons and magazines and ammunition. One thing to watch out for is a container that you typically only see in points of interest, and there are a ton of them in this big room, and that's the ammo box. If you see these small boxes up here, they're all over the shelves here, and they're going to have a lot of ammo and magazines in them. Well, I just had bad luck. There we go, a box of 9mm ammunition, 357 ammunition. So you see I'm not crazy. I just got a few very unlucky loots on those first few boxes. You likely won't loot as much ammo as you would like from a bunker, so what you want to watch out for is a toolbox somewhere so that you can start making your own ammo. Okay, let's make our way out. We're going to wait for this sentry to start making his way left, and then once we feel like he's far enough over, we'll make our exit. There's a good chance we'll get aggro on our way out, but it's not that big of a deal. We can just zigzag left and right to avoid most of the shots. Again, and if you don't know where it is, you might not spot this hole in the fence, as there aren't very many on that side. Once we get safely far away from the mechs, we are good to go, and we just need to watch out for any puppets that we might have aggroed on the way. I hope this was helpful for you. I only have 2 more bunkers to do before I finish the complete series, all 16. If you aren't aware, there is a bunker in every one of the sectors on the map, and we just have to do C4 and C3 to finish this series. If you like my content, please subscribe to see more, like or comment and tell me what you think. Of course, you could dislike, but if you do that, I'm going to talk to the devs of SCUM and convince them this needs to be a voxel game instead. This has been your bottom line up front, and I'll see you in the next video.